Yeah, apologize about that. My mic wasn't working to start the show. Good to see you guys. It's been a while, YouTube. Hey, doing a live stream, doing a podcast this evening, talking about the transfer portal, talking about running backs. If you guys don't know the deal, transfer portal opens next week. So we have to start identifying some of these players now. But before I do that, I go out and I clean the slate and I make sure we talk about every single player in the transfer portal. It helps me learn all these teams. If you're an MVP, you know what I'm doing. If you guys aren't aware, I have a Patreon where if you pay me $25 a month, I know it sounds like an absurd amount, I provide picks, I provide gambling advice, I provide assessment and analysis, and some MVPs paid for the whole year. You can pay for the whole year and get a hell of a discount. I think it's like a 15% discount. So they paid for the whole year, and they're still MVPs. Now, we're giving UFC picks every single week. I'm breaking down fights. I know MMA really well, but I'm on my football grind. And if you don't believe me, I'll show you guys something, okay? I'm going to show you how much of a football grind I'm on right now. If you go over here and you go to Patreon, and if you're a member of the Patreon, you can see these collections. I think free members can see it too. We do have 3,500 free members. Shout out to you guys. But you can see these collections, and you will see futures bets here for 2024. And what this really means is what's going to happen next year in the college football season. And my assessment of how many games each of these teams is going to win. And you can see all the videos and all the different teams I've already broken down for the 2024 season. And it's a lot of teams. And I'm not stopping. I keep assessing teams for the 2024 season. I've already done the entire ACC. I'm now in the Big Ten. I'm going to do every power conference in alphabetical order. And you can get a jump on some of these futures bets. And you can start making your money that way. But I am in the trenches studying rosters. If you watch these videos and you don't have a clue, bro, some of these videos are 36 minutes long about a particular team. 30 minutes long about one team. In-depth analysis on every position group, on every competition going on this spring, who I think is going to hit the transfer portal, who's going to impact the win-loss column next year, how new coaches are doing. I'm breaking down coaching staffs and players of every single team. The most in-depth analysis you'll ever see on a particular team. I'm doing it. There is no shortcut. I produce one of these videos maybe once every other day. It all depends on my schedule. Right now, I'm pretty swamped. I do have UFC 300 tomorrow. It's a big day for me and the MVPs. Shout out to everybody. And by the way, if you're trying to beat me for UFC 300, there's daily fantasy stats. You guys can go out there, go do your DFS stuff. Hey, go to DraftKings. Whether you can gamble or not doesn't matter. You go to DraftKings. DraftKings Fantasy is the app you got to get. Or you can just go to Twitter. Go to my homepage on Twitter and click the link. It's pinned. Click the link and try to beat me. $10. That's all it takes. $10 and try to beat me. I don't get the money. Money goes to the top 5 finishers in the competition. There's 50 entrants only. We limited it to the top 50 people, first 50, and then 5 people are getting paid more than $10. First place is getting over $100. You're gonna get your money times 10. So first and foremost, it's a plus 1,000 if you're a gambler out there, and the top 10% are getting paid out. It's a competition. It has to fill up by tomorrow. So show up, sign up, throw $10 at it. You spend $10 on nonsense, bro. You tip $10. You tip a waiter $10 just to impress the girl you're on a date with. It's a piece of shit move, but it's what you do. I know you guys. All right, so try to beat me. I do have UFC picks, breakdowns, and if you want to see the UFC fight, if you want to see UFC 300, I'm telling you right now, you need to become an MVP. Join the Discord server. We have a stage, 300 people can enter. We have the top boosted Discord server you can have. I pay for that every single month. And we have well over 2,000 people on the Discord server. And the first 300 that show up get my commentary for the fight. It's really important you show up. Hint, hint. If you don't show up and you don't get a seat, you don't get it for free, bro. That's real. Live bets are there. Analysis is there. The fights are there. Figure it out. I'm just letting you know. Go to Patreon. Search RicoKnows. Oh, Rico, what's Patreon? It's an app, bro. It's like OnlyFans. And don't tell me you don't know what OnlyFans is. Everything I read online, every one of these models is making millions of dollars, but I never met one dude who admits they have an OnlyFans account. Never met one. All you do is be sitting around, what's OnlyFans? Well, what's Patreon? Same concept, only I keep my clothes on. Right? You won't lose your shirt fucking with me. Let me just put it like that. So, I've been grinding, though, studying rosters, breaking down every depth chart there ever was. The analysis is genuine and real. Ask the MVPs. I go all in. It's not a game. I apologize. My setup in front of me is weird. I'm moving things around, and it's bugging me. So if you see me looking around at my monitor, it's because I'm staring at the camera. The camera's here. I apologize, guys. It's been a while since I had my show, and I can't remember how I had it set up before. And I also have brand new monitors. Shout out to the beautiful Kim Jones for encouraging me to step forward and get brand new monitors. I've never done it before, and here we are. I'm fixing things right now as I'm talking to you guys. I apologize. You can't see it on the show. Nothing over there bothers you. You're okay. Shout out to TikTok if you're trying to talk to me. I don't see the chat. Move over to YouTube. I'll answer your questions over there. Put it in the chat, and I'll get to you. Promise. Eventually. Okay? That being said, we're going to talk about running backs in the transfer portal. Yes, a bunch of kids are hitting the portal. Kids you didn't expect to hit the portal. But there's still some commitments in the portal and some enrollments that I haven't talked about. And I want to get after that, and I want to talk about it. So we're going to start with who just jumped in the portal. We're going to start with who's available. And it's Damian Martinez. Everybody's talking about Damian Martinez. This man just rushed for 1,100 yards. Big, powerful, strong back. As a freshman, rushed for over 900 yards. Yes, arrested. Suspicion of DUI. Nobody cares. Etienne just had a DUI. Nobody cares. They want to find running backs that can move the ball. So there he is. Damian Martinez is there. I'm also interested, and another thing about Damian Martinez, he does have multiple years of eligibility left. He cannot go pro after this year. So he's going to be around. At least 2 years. Rashad Amos, you see him there, former South Carolina running back, transferred up to Miami of Ohio, dominated, big, powerful back. He's been in the portal since last winter. There's no hurry to get out of the portal because you go to classes for the entire semester and then you got to finish your classes. He won't be an early enrollee. He's not going to do spring ball with your current team. So there was no rush to sign with anybody. He's sitting back chilling. I'm curious to see where he ends up. And that's a fact. Henry Parrish, tell me 100% to Ole Miss. Congratulations. Simeon Price, not too concerned. A couple other guys that stick out to me. Thaddeus Franklin, former Miami running back, went to ULM, was supposed to be the star running back, didn't quite work out. That's a big kid who's not really gotten there. Cody Brown, shout out to Parkview. Cody Brown going to, I believe he's been to Miami, Tennessee out of high school, just left Virginia. He's going to be just a straight up bust, bro. And the problem with these young men is they grow up in the South. They think the only schools they can go to are FBS level schools and Power 4 schools and Power 5 schools. And by the time by the time they realize it, their career is over. There is no point in going around and moving from one team's bench to the next, to the next, to the next. There's no point. Yet they still do it. I'm telling you. Hey, if you're watching this live stream on YouTube right now, can you do me a favor, guys? Hit that like button for me. It really helps the algorithm. It really helps populate. Hit the like button on YouTube. You might have to leave the show to hit the like button. Tap your phone, and then you can hit the thumbs up there. Leave it. Go hit the thumbs up, and then come back. That's all you have to do. Thank you. Teron Lynch-Adams, I want you guys to know I got a message about Teron Lynch-Adams leaving UMass real early. I got it early in my DMs. Not joking. Let me see when I got it. So I don't know when it got announced. It's still not official, but who gave it to me? I got to remember the guy's name. Oh, it's always Schneids. So Schneids was talking to me, and Schneids says, hey, we lost this dude. We can't get him back. K-Ron right there. Hasn't answered my text or call. If you don't know this guy, you probably don't know, but he runs the NIL for UMass, okay? So he's really important at UMass. He knows the deal. He's got some insider information, and he said to me, we're going to lose him. Teron Lynch is leaving us. Bummer. So I found out the 27th of March. Didn't make a video on it because I like to keep some of my information on Twitter private. Even though I get a heads up on it, I don't like to break all the news. I know what people think I do that, but I don't. I've known since the 27th of March. Go look online when it finally got announced, when people started talking about it. It's not even out there like that, and I knew well in advance. So you got a UMass running back leaving and going to Ohio State. I got news for you guys. He's that good. He can play. I'm going to talk about some running backs today, and you guys probably don't know their names, and they're that good. They're going to contribute and play at their new teams 100%. Okay, so it's just one of those things about who's available, who's really good. There's Jaden Nixon. I talked about him last year. I made a prediction. There's a Twitter video. Not Twitter. There's a TikTok video. And I should have brought it up for this show, but on TikTok last year, somebody asked me about Jaden Nixon, Oklahoma State running back. And his parents went to Oklahoma State, track athletes. I think mom was a track athlete. And they asked me, what do you think about Jaden Nixon? He's a true freshman. He's a star. And I didn't really know him that well. I mean, I knew of his name, but I had never sat down and analyzed his tape. So before I answered the question, I went and watched all his tape. And then I went and studied the depth chart at Oklahoma State in the running back room. And I knew that their leading rusher was a guy named Dominic Richardson, and he was transferring to Baylor. And I knew I was just trying to see who's left. And I started watching film, and I turned on tape, and I saw this running back. And his name was Ollie Gordon. Now, today, all of you know Ollie Gordon. He's a household name because he led the country in rushing, or was top 5 in rushing, whatever he was. But last year, this time last year, I made a video about it. And I said, guys, there's a running back at Oklahoma State, and I think he's going to play on Sundays. I think he's an NFL running back. I think he's amazing, and none of you know his name. I think he's the next superstar running back out of Oklahoma State, not Jaden Nixon. And the guy who asked me to talk about Jaden Nixon was actually really upset. He sent me a bunch of DMs. You don't know what you're talking about. Jaden Nixon is him. And I said, he does not look like a natural running back to me. He doesn't look all that special. He is fast, but he just looks like a kickoff returner or something else. He actually looks like a track athlete wearing pads. He doesn't look like a football player. And some of you might not know what that means, but I can tell you that there are guys who run 10-7 in the 100 meters, get out on the football field, and get 3 yards per carry. I vividly remember this in high school. I'm going to tell you, I went to a hood-ass high school when I was in freshman and sophomore year. I went to a school in Indio, California. Hood, bro. We had a daycare behind the school. I remember a daycare being there. Yeah, because teen pregnancy was real. And I'm in this place. Shout out to my girlfriend. She got pregnant when I was a freshman or a sophomore. I don't remember. But the point I'm trying to make is I go to a track meet, or I'm watching the team play, and we have this running back. His name is Wayman Furman, I think. Wayman Furman was running 10-5 100 meters, 10-6 100 meters, 10-7. He was running 10s. Fast. Fastest dude we had at that school in the last 20 years. And I was like, yo, he's the fastest dude in the whole place. He's the fastest dude within 20 miles. He's the fastest kid. And he was big. Got on the football team. They went 0-10 on varsity. Never won a game, and he was getting 3 yards a carry. Running the wing T. He was trash, bro. Fast as hell, but trash. That's kind of what Jaden Nixon reminds me of. Fast as hell and trash. Oh, and to bring that story full circle, we were undefeated on our JV team. We were undefeated as freshmen. We were undefeated. Eventually, I transferred to the much better school down the street, and we were back-to-back CIF semifinalists, and then we won 2 CIF titles after that. If you don't know, in California, winning the CIF title is a big deal. Shout out to LQHS. LQ, I thought you knew. But had to leave Indio, bro. It was trash, and our running back was trash. Fast as hell. Would win every track meet. I think Jaden Nixon is not a great running back. Fast as hell, though. Just so we're clear. Some of these other guys are new, hitting the portal recently. Some of these other guys have been staying. I like Damian Moore a lot. I want you guys to know Damian Moore, former Cal running back. Some injuries kind of held him up. Gets to Fresno State. Still kind of injured. Still not doing his thing, and he's back in the transfer portal again. Used to be, Pac-12 caliber running back. So we'll see what happens with him. Damian Moore, like the kid. Anybody else? Oh, there's Frank Peasant. Starting running back in Middle Tennessee State last year. We actually probably did some prop bets on him or against him. We might have took his under. There's some other good players, but those are the only ones that really stick out that are worth talking about. Like, there's a ton of running backs that left Texas State. I'll just leave them out. Know all of these guys, but I'm not messing. Oh, wow. Marquez Cooper sitting right here. I didn't see Coop sitting right there. So Cooper, former 1,000-yard rusher, back-to-back seasons at Kent State 2 years ago. Hit the portal, went to, after he lost his coach, Sean Lewis, goes to Ball State. And he doesn't play all that well at Ball State. Replacing Carson Steele, who went to UCLA. Didn't do so well, but he's still a complete stud. I probably should have had him on my top running backs ticker. You guys see the scrolling ticker down here. Probably deserves to have Marquez Cooper on there, 100%. He's one of the better running backs I've seen on tape. Shout out. He went to Quincy Orchard coming out of high school. I don't know if they say Quince Orchard or Quincy in the DMV area, right next to Gaithersburg, in Gaithersburg, next to Rockville. So I've actually watched him play in high school. That's when he got on my radar. That kid's a beast. 2 stars my ass. It's just they don't like his metrics, his size. That young man was top 2 or 3 running backs in the MAC for 2 years straight. So he's a stud. Mike Washington Jr., speaking of the MAC. Oh, look, he's going to UMass. Awesome. Mike Washington Jr. was a starting running back at Buffalo, and for two years ago, he was a complete monster. And then he just fell out of favor with the coaching staff. Fell out of favor in the rotation, but that's a big running back, strong, powerful. I think he has NFL traits. I think Mike Washington Jr. has NFL traits and nobody's talking about it. I'm just letting you know. He's nice. O'Shawn Allison, the backup running back for Ohio, split time, part of that two running back committee with Say Bangora. Star Thomas just jumped in. That was the starting running back, a JUCO transfer star running back for New Mexico State. We bet on Star Thomas a lot. We believed in him. Not a breakaway speed burner, nothing crazy like that, but quality running back, probably better than somebody on your roster. Definitely deserves to be in your 85. Everybody else, there leaves a lot to be desired. It's slim pickings. There are some studs in here, but it's slim pickings if you're going to find anybody better than your current 85, better than your current roster. But there will be departures from certain schools, and they're going to have to backfill with somebody. And they're either backfilling with, a high school recruit, a JUCO recruit, or one of these guys in the transfer portal. Now, careful. When you see names like this, if they're still sitting there, there's some red tape involved. That could be academic issues. That could be character concerns, criminal concerns, right? Things like that. So everybody needs to be careful. I can remember this time, well, really maybe June last year, when I was breaking down every single transfer portal available player at every position group. People were like, Rico, who's the best, this, that, or the other? I go look, and it would be like, this dude was arrested for this, kicked off the team here. It was just a collection of leftover trash, bro. I mean it. It didn't matter how good. Rico, he's a former 5-star, former 4-star. I'm like, I know, bro. But he's also going to be wearing a probation officer's uniform here soon. Wait, I shouldn't have said that. A criminal uniform soon. He's going to be reporting to his probation officer soon. A lot of those guys never made it. Their careers are over, right? Shout out to Ajay Hall. That's a 5-star wide receiver. Went to Alabama out of high school, right? Straight out of, where was he out of? He was out of Tampa. Went to Alabama, got kicked off the team by Nick Saban. Went to Texas, got arrested, kicked off the team there. And then everybody said, where's he going to go, Rico? Where's he going to go? He's still in the portal. He's still amazing. Best wide receiver in the portal. Well, bro, he's the best wide receiver to not be playing college football. How would you like that title? So just careful. Before I get into the list, I'm going to start taking your questions. If you're on YouTube, ask me questions. I'm sorry, TikTok, move over to YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you can put it in the chat now. I'll see it, and then we're going to start talking about players that are enrolled at school. Shouldn't be much chat. Shout out to you guys. I see it here. Shout out to Evan Kramer. You see it. He's got a badge right there. Evan Kramer's been with the channel for a long time. He says, welcome in, everyone. Reminder that questions will be answered after he goes through roughly 10 players. That is correct. I usually go over 25 players every single night. So every time I do a podcast, I'm trying to do between 25 and 30 players in the transfer portal. You will learn about 25 to 30 players in this episode, just so you're aware. But I'll always get to your questions eventually. So please ask them once. Don't spam. Be patient, and I'll get back to you. Derek H says, yo, also be sure if your merch needs, oh, snap. Evan Kramer telling them about the merch. We do have RicoKnows merch. Just go to RicoKnows.org and you'll get the merch. You got to buy it, obviously. It's there. Ajay Hall going to the Gridiron Gang soon. He is. That's who Michael Irvin was playing in that. What was that? What's that called? When they're the longest yard. The longest yard. Zach Smith says, what's good, Rico? Love the content, man. Thank you, Zach, for supporting the channel. I love the support. Thank you for being here. Hey, listen, if you got comments, questions, just put them in the chat. I'll get to them, but I'm going to start hitting on the players. Pause. I'm going to start covering all the players that have committed in the transfer portal. We'll go from there. So let me get back to the episode, to the show, and all the information. Here we go. Okay, so we're looking at running backs, and the way I start this is I look at running backs that are enrolled. If I skip a running back you see on the screen, it's because I've already talked about them in a previous episode. I have my notes in front of me to remind me what episode I talked about these players in, okay? It's color-coded for me. You wouldn't understand it, but I've already talked about every single one of these guys in a previous episode. We have running back episodes. This is running back episode 4. So there's 3 other episodes on running backs. Please go back and watch them. You will learn about every single one of these transfers and how I feel about them. Now, I will tell you, some of these ratings have changed, and they have increased their ratings or decreased them. I don't care. I only use 24/7 Sports because they have pictures of the players. I don't care what order they're in. I do not agree with the rankings whatsoever. It's all utter ignorance. And I'm just using it for pictures, just so we're clear. All right, because there's some amazing running backs on this list, and they're just all out of order. So the first guy I'm actually going to talk about, though, that I have not covered, let's try to go find him. I want to say it's Conley. Where is he at? Where is he at? There it is. Conley. I know where he's at because I know he's under George Pedway. So Conley, running back, leaving San Jose State, going to Arizona. First off, this is a kid from Fresno, California. So he's a California kid coming out of high school. He goes to Utah Tech, rushes for over 1,000 yards at Utah Tech, and then he heads over to San Jose State. San Jose State, the reason they were getting some quality running backs, quality players, is they have an amazing coach in Alonzo Carter. Zoe Carter is such a good recruiter. He belongs at the upper echelon of the sport, and he's been down there at San Jose State, recruiting the hell out of Northern California and giving young inner city kids a chance in that whole area up there. But he's got to work his magic with the B team, if you will. At Arizona, he doesn't need to do that. At Arizona, he's going to get some really good players. I promise you. So getting this young man to leave Utah Tech, go over to San Jose State. And when he was at Utah Tech, I'm trying to remember, his offensive coordinator was the offensive coordinator who just left Texas State to go to San Jose State. I'm forgetting his name right now. Oh, I hate forgetting names, you guys. That sucks. It happens. But he's following Brett Brennan. He was the first player to follow Brett Brennan to Arizona. So Brett Brennan takes the job. This is San Jose State head coach. He takes the job at Arizona. First player he brings with him is Conley. Why? Conley's a hell of a running back. He's a good all-around running back. He wasn't the starter at San Jose State. He was the backup, but he was still an 800-yard rusher, 9 touchdowns. Still 7th in the Mountain West in rushing. So he's a quality young man. He loves running back by committee. He's not selfish. And Arizona just lost 2 of their running backs. It don't matter, bro. Michael Wiley, Jonah Coleman leaving. I know they're good running backs. Michael Wiley, multi-year starter. Jonah Coleman, pretty damn good running back. Left for Washington, followed his coach, right? But I'm telling you, the cupboard's not bare at Arizona, not at running back. They got 2 running backs in the transfer portal, and I'm going to talk about the other running back when I get to the committed list. He'll be my number 1 guy. And I don't want to give away his name because he's changing his name next year. It's funny to me. I'm laughing because he's changing his name to Bill. We're going to get into that. Anyways, I don't even know how you change your name to Bill. Shout out to all the Williams out there who say their name is Bill. This is totally different. But let me get focused. They also have another running back at Arizona. When I watched the tape, I went and studied the whole roster because that's what Rico does. Rico knows. I've known Rayshawn Luke for a long time. I've known of him for a long time. I've actually never talked to him. So I shouldn't say I know. I talked to a lot of players. But I have not talked to Rayshawn Luke. His nickname is Speedy. And I think he went to St. John Bosco. And when he was in high school, he was a nightmare of a player. He was just so fast. And he got to Arizona, and I just thought he was going to immediately start. I didn't know they had other good running backs at Arizona at the time. And when I heard he was 3rd string, I was disappointed. When I heard he was still struggling to get playing time, I was disappointed. Excuse me. And then once I heard 2 running backs are leaving, I'm like, it's Speedy's time. But I'm starting to think that Rayshon Luke is a change of pace back, a speed back, and he's a great one. Okay? So, Conley, they have a 3-headed monster at running back, period. That's just what I want to get out there right now. They do have 2 other guys. I think it's Jordan and Brandon Johnson. Brandon is a redshirt freshman, and Jordan is an incoming 4-star player. Now, they did lose a running back, and I'm going to talk about him a little later as I scroll down here because they lost a kid who just committed. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm just going to tell you that Conley here, quality running back, will be a household name. Like, he's going to be one of the starting running backs at Arizona next year. He'll be in the rotation. Don't sweat it. And anybody who's going, well, Rico, he's just a 3-star player. Yeah, bro. I don't care what these websites do. I don't care what they give him. That's a good player. Conley's better than your 85. Like, he can make any team in America. He'll make your running back room anywhere. Next running back, I've talked about everybody else. Teron Keith right here. Bowling Green going to Western Kentucky. Teron Keith does not look like your prototypical running back. He doesn't look good. He doesn't look good, but he's functional. He gets it done. He's the backup running back at Bowling Green last year, yet he's transferring to Western Kentucky. It's a lateral move. I thought Bowling Green used him well. They gave him a lot of playing time. Teron Stewart is fragile, their starting running back. Stewart's fragile. He's a good running back, don't get me wrong. But he's fragile. He can't play the whole time. He's got durability issues. And then Teron Keith comes in and fills the gap and plays great. And he's a good receiving threat. This guy almost has as many carries as he does receptions. I swear, he's got like 42 carries, 38 receptions, something like that. He's nuts. He's a receiving running back. He's a 3rd down back. He's a fat little dude. I shit you not, bro. He's a fat little dude. That's what he looks like. Doesn't look stereotypical, doesn't look fast, but he's a good running back out of the backfield. He knows how to play. He's ready for Saturday. He's not a home run hitter, but he's definitely a contributor, and I like him, which is weird because if we're talking about home run hitters, Jalen Jackson here, they don't even have a picture of him. Jalen Jackson is a home run hitter. Jalen Jackson in high school was running 10,600 meters as a sophomore and a junior, okay? 10,600 meters, speed demon, out of Texas. Goes to EMU because he's 5'6", 170 pounds. He was probably smaller in high school, but right now he's 5'6", 170. Little guy. But my God, he's got the juice. He makes you miss. He's got that extra gear. And you're in the running back room at EMU. EMU's got some really good young running backs. I started watching all their tape, going through all their players. They got some young guys that can actually move the chain. They look good. They haven't even played yet. The reason for that is Samson Evans, right? 3 years in a row, over 10 touchdowns. Powerful running back, white dude. Moving the chains, a bully in the red zone. They didn't let Jalen Jackson run in the red zone. They let Jalen Jackson run in between the 20s. And he's good, man. He's somebody to cheer for. He's exciting. Iowa State lost their entire running backs room the minute Abu Sama won the job because he won it in the snow. Remember that guy rushed for nearly 300 yards in the snow? I don't know if any of you guys watched that game last year. So the other guys, everybody else jumped in the portal. Norton and some other dudes, Eli and some other guys, they all left. So Iowa State needs to find running backs, and they get themselves Jalen Jackson, a speed demon, bro. I love it. I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see him in the Big 12, and you guys get to know him. He's going to be a stud. He's a beast. Yeah, look at Cartavius Norton left. This kid's better than Norton, I believe so. Gerald Green. By the way, Trey Bradford, one of the worst transfers I've seen out there. This is a young man who should not be on a college campus. Talked about him in another episode. He's been kicked out of school multiple times, academically ineligible multiple times, transferred multiple times, back and forth. He's really weird. Trey Bradford, terrible. I don't understand it. Shouldn't have a scholarship anywhere. Shout out to North Texas. They need running backs, so they got him. But anyways, Gerald Green going to Troy. One of the more underwhelming transfers I've seen. I love Troy's running back room as of late. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of what they've been doing in the last couple of years, but you lose your head coach, and now you need to start replacing some of these players that, go to the NFL or graduate and whatnot. And I start looking at Gerald Green, and I go, this is not a guy. Gerald Green's not a guy. Let me tell you guys about Gerald Green. Gerald Green was a backup running back to Jalen White at Georgia Southern 2 years ago. And Gerald Green was the second running back, and the third running back was this little kid. His name is OJ. Shout out to OJ Simpson. His name is OJ. OJ Arnold. Omarion Arnold. Omari Arnold was a little running back out of Georgia Southern. Now, he went to Brooks County, a 1A school at the time. Now I think they're 2A. But at the time, they were 1A. And he won a state title, beat in Irwin County. He was so great. I watched him in high school, and I just thought, man, this kid is great. Why does nobody want him? What's up with this? I started checking his offers. This was before I had TikTok. This was before I had a platform that I could have got this kid an offer. I could have reached out to coaches and helped him. I'm sitting in my living room watching this kid play, and I go, man, he's fucking amazing. They're like, well, he's going to Georgia Southern. I said, all right. So he goes to Georgia Southern. I start watching their games. They start throwing the ball 100 times a game. They no longer need running backs. I'm like, who's this running backs? And at the end of his freshman year, they had a bowl game. And in that bowl game, I think Gerald Green got 2 or 3 carries in the bowl game. Jalen White didn't play in the bowl game. And he's the starting running back, right? And Gerald Green gets 2 or 3 carries. Omari Arnold gets 9 carries, leads the team in rushing in the final game of the season, in the bowl game, and the writing's on the wall at that point. We're going to start using Omari Arnold more than you. He's part of our future more than you. And it paid dividends. Omari Arnold is probably going to be the starting running back at Georgia Southern for at least 2 years. He's a quality running back, change of pace guy, I get it. Omari Arnold is him. And Gerald Green jumps in the portal, goes to ECU. Thinking, I'm going to go replace Keaton Mitchell. You're not good enough to replace Keaton Mitchell. He got to ECU and got dominated. Now, Omari Arnold had 12 carries. Gerald Green had 3 carries, 8 yards in that bowl game. It takes a while to get through my Rolodex. He goes to ECU, thinks he's going to replace Keaton Mitchell. You're not doing that. Keaton Mitchell, 1,400-yard rusher. NFL caliber. My number 5 running back on my draft board. He didn't get drafted. Everybody laughed at me, but he made it. Made it on a 53. Gerald Green is not NFL caliber. Not good. I'm letting you know, not good. Yes, he has a lot of experience. He's played, but I don't see him like that, bro. I don't see him as a marquee back, somebody. And now he's going to Troy to replace Kamani Vidal to contribute in the Troy running back room. I don't see it. I think it's just a shout out to East Coweta. Shout out to his old high school. But for me, Gerald Green is not that piece that I see like that. All right, I'm just keeping it real. Denario Davenport is the next guy. Denario Davenport leaving Texas State, going to La Tech. I'm going to tell you guys right now, La Tech's running back room, that's what I think of La Tech's running back room. I'm not impressed by anybody. Denario Davenport, he's 6'1", 210. It's final year of eligibility. Go get it, man. Go get it. He runs a 4.6 in high school. Like, that's how I feel. I watched him in high school running a 4.6. I think his track time, when I looked up his 100 meters on mile split, it was 11:54, if I remember correctly. 11:54. That's not a burner. He looked okay. He was a JUCO All-American. He was supposed to be the starting running back at Texas State. Ishmael Mahdi came in from Houston Christian Baptist, Houston Christian Baptist, Houston Baptist Christian. I'm terrible with, there's so much going on up here. And Ishmael Mahdi is a burner. And Ishmael Mahdi did everything he couldn't, and Ishmael Mahdi did the damn thing. Does not pop on tape for me. Does not. And I'll say another thing. I've never seen the running backs coach or the offense coordinator the running backs coach at La Tech. His last name is Ville. I've never seen somebody do less with more, unless you're thinking about his head coach, Sonny Cumbie. These guys do not get it done. These guys are terrible. I don't know. I think Sonny Cumbie needs to be fired, and somebody else needs to get that opportunity and replace him. He's not it. I'm just letting you know. Next guy is Dilbert Mims, right below him. Dilbert Mims leaving NC State, going to EMU. Lackluster as all hell. Remember, EMU, they need running backs. They lost Samson Evans. They lost Jalen. I just talked about Jalen up top. So now they got Dilbert Mims. A guy at NC State That was the short yardage back. 6 foot, what is he, 5'11", 215? And he's the short yardage back. He had 8 touchdowns, but NC State running backs were gross. Gross, I tell you. They didn't have anybody rushing for much. Maybe 200 yards. They had like 3 running backs hit the portal. They're all gone. Boom, boom, boom. And they got Jordan Waters, who's a complete stud out of Duke. This guy doesn't do it. I think Delbert Mims fills a need for EMU. They got themselves a powerful running back. Congratulations. But he's nothing to get excited about. At least not from my perspective. I already talked about everybody else. Antoine Littlejohn. Do you guys see how his face barely fits in this picture? Oh, my goodness. Antoine Littlejohn leaving Maryland, going to Temple. Let me tell you guys something. They have him listed at 6'1", 230. In what world? Antoine Littlejohn. Antoine Littlejohn. We just call him Littlejohn. In high school, he was a COVID kid. So, and you guys, if you don't know what I mean by that, he was a COVID kid, meaning his senior year was 2020. And in 2020, if your senior year was COVID, nobody knows what the fuck you did. Like, you didn't play. Nobody came to your high school to visit because no travel was allowed. So there are just a ton of 2020 recruiting misses all over the damn country. And he's one of them. He last played as a junior, and he was 265 pounds. When he committed to Maryland verbally, he was 265 pounds, 6'1", 265. Then his senior year, he doesn't play at all. He also doesn't work out. He doesn't work out. He didn't have the discipline to work out. He showed up to Maryland 299 pounds. 300 pounds. Insane. He's a powerful running back. When I watch his high school tape, I'm going to tell you what comes to mind. Man amongst children. And what I mean by that is this man literally peaked in high school. I think he was overdeveloped. I think the ceiling is very low. I think there's no potential for improvement or growth. It was just a guy who was a grown man before everybody else. I remember this true story, bro. I was in the 8th grade. I was 5'3", 120. And I was changing in a locker room. And this guy, his name was Jack Robbins. And Jack Robbins had a beard or a goatee in the 8th grade. He had a goatee in the 8th grade. He was a bully to everyone. He was shaving. And he was tough. And Jack Robbins might have been 5'8", 150. And was just mean to everyone. And a bully. And we were little. Like, we were just little dudes. We were just little athletic dudes. We were like, oh my God, we're in the locker room. That dude, he'd take off his shirt. He had a hairy chest and hairy armpits. And we were like, what the hell? We were little kids. I was 12 years old in the 8th grade. I was young. And he'd pick on everybody. Bump into you. What? Say something. You know, that whole deal. Fast forward 3 years later. 3 years later, Jack Robbins' new nickname, they used to call him Jack the Ripper. Jack Robbins' new nickname was JV Jack. JV Jack was 5'9", 150. Never grew another inch. Never got any bigger, stronger, faster. The rest of us hit growth spurts, lifted weights, and beat the shit out of that dude. And he deserved every minute of it. We'd go to practice and just, we'd be looking for this man. And he'd have to suit up as a junior on JV. He had to suit up in front and embarrass his family. Because that's how we got down. We laughed at that dude. I still laugh at him, bro. I heard he's a bartender. Make my drink right, bro. I'm telling you. 5'9", 5'8", 150 in the 8th grade. You're tough. I think Antoine Littlejohn peaked in high school. I don't think he contributes much. Yeah, he'll go to Temple. Temple needs running backs. Congratulations. They're wide open competition at the position. Congratulations. I'm going to go to chat real quick. We're going to see what you guys got to say, and then we'll get back to the list. If you're on TikTok, you're watching the show, move over to YouTube. Come ask me questions. I got you. That's all you got to do. Come ask the questions on YouTube, and we'll be good. If you don't show up, I don't got you. That's how that works. Let's go see what happens here. Sorry about that. Next chat here says, what is the Gridiron Gang for Ajay Hall? You guys don't know the Gridiron Gang? That means going to jail. Evan Kramer says, can confirm Gerald Green is not getting any first-string reps at Troy. Has been Damian Taylor and Jordan Lovett prison. Correct. Yeah, so Gridiron Gang, just that's short for people in jail who used to go work on the railroad and go on the gridiron and do their thing. Go do a football team in prison. A football team in prison is what he means. But yeah, I told you, Gerald Green not getting any reps, bro. I told you. I can make that prediction all day. I don't know. I ain't seen no practice. It don't matter. I see the roster. I know the players. And I've watched a lot of film on Gerald Green. I don't see the transfer to Troy being successful in any way, shape, or form. I guess he just wanted to be close to home. He's from East Coweta. Wanted to be close to home. Because there is no way he's contributing. He should have went to North Alabama. He should have went to Mercer or Kennesaw State. They would have loved to have him. I'm just saying. All right, not much chat. Let's go back to the show. Sorry about that. Let's go. Next running back on the list here, Marquise. Where's Marquise? Marquise Williams leaving Minnesota, going to Akron. Shout out to this young man, 5'9", 175. I did not see him leaving Minnesota for Akron. I thought he was going to go to Kent State. Remember, Minnesota running backs coach Kenny Burns left to go be the head coach at Kent State. So if you're not working out at Minnesota, because Darius Taylor took the starting job, let me stay focused here. Freshmen come in. One freshman beats everybody else out, and that's Darius Taylor. He is the starting running back in Minnesota. He's a complete monster, a stud, and everything that goes with that. He's great. And he decides, all right, I'm going to be the alpha male. I'm starting. Bring in transfers all you want. I'm still starting. It's incredible what Minnesota's doing. Say Bangor comes in from Ohio. I'm still starting. Okay, Say Bangor is really good. We're going to figure that out. Well, Marquise Williams says, man, I've been here 1 year. I don't think I can start here. I need to leave. But instead of going and following his old recruiter and his old running backs coach, the guy who recruited him to Minnesota was Kenny Burns. Instead of following Kenny Burns, he goes to Akron. Maybe he sees the depth chart at Akron and he says he's going to get some playing time. I'm interested to see what happens at Akron. I hope it works out for him because he did choose, the MAC. And those kids who don't work out in the Big Ten that choose the MAC, I hope they all do well. I want you to find that opportunity. So more power to him. Young man, young kid, and never really got a chance. Javin Jackson. I talked about Javin Jackson in a video on TikTok months ago. I was watching film, so let me tell you guys how this works. Scotty Walden, the new head coach at UTEP, is doing such a great job bringing in new talent at UTEP. I'm starting to get really excited for UTEP's win total. I'm starting to get excited about what Scotty Walden can do there. I believe he can really bring a resurgence to UTEP that people haven't seen. So I started paying attention to every player UTEP signing, and they look great. And I notice all the players that come from Austin Peay. So I go turn on Austin Peay tape, and I'm watching all the players from Austin Peay that transferred into UTEP. And the star player at Austin Peay was Javin Jackson. He wears number 22. I think he does. He might not. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But what I do remember is he had vision like number 22. He had vision like Emmitt Smith. This guy's a 1,200-yard rusher. I mean, he's so good. And I go, holy shit, who's this kid? So I double-checked. I said, is he going to the NFL draft? Nope. All right, this is an FCS, all-conference, all-American, whatever he is. He's amazing. I'm like, whoa, where is Javin Jackson going? He's not going to UTEP at this time when I'm watching the film. So I'm like, all right, all the good players on Austin Peay are going to UTEP with their coach, except for Javin Jackson. He's probably getting offers from other bigger schools. He's probably looking at going and contributing at a major program. And he weighed his options. He looked around, and he was like, nah, I'm going to go to UTEP and follow my coach. Incredible move. The backup running back already showed up. This is an upgrade at the running back position, even though Deion Hankins was there, even though Torrance Burgess Jr. was there, which are both very good running backs. They both transferred to Texas State. But Javin Jackson is a dog. So when you watch UTEP next year and you see that they have a franchise running back that they can believe in, holy smokes, it's Javin Jackson. Emmitt Smith clone to me. Just good vision, compact size, 5'10", 200 pounds-ish. Good running back, bro. I'm excited for this guy. And they had him at 0 stars. Then they gave him 3 stars, whatever. I don't give a shit about none of them stars. That's a good running back right there. All right, Torrance Burgess, change of pace back, little scat back, 5'6", 175. Was the backup at UTEP last year, but he's just a change of pace dude. He's fast. He's nice. There's a lot of guys. Yo, Rico, you got to talk about Pearland, Texas, bro. I'm like, I know, bro. I know how good he is. All right, he's good enough. He transferred to Texas State. I'm assuming Texas State is preparing to lose Ishmael Mahdi this spring. We'll find out next week. I think Ishmael Mahdi is departing Texas State. Probably not true. Might have changed his mind, but I'm under the impression he's leaving Texas State. Maybe they took care of him financially and they keep him. But right now, the way they signed 2 running backs, UTEP signed 2 running backs. Or I'm sorry, Texas State signed 2 UTEP running backs. Like, you're Torrance Burgess, and you're transferring out of UTEP. You were the backup running back at UTEP, and you go to Texas State with your buddy, Hankins. Like, you're going to be the backup again. You just transferred again to be the backup again. I guess you guys both like each other a lot. That's cool. Aaron Young. Have you guys ever seen somebody who's a good kid and you want him to succeed, but he's just not good enough? That's Aaron Young. Aaron Young's a good dude, man. I like Aaron Young. Positive influence on the locker room. Just not overly talented. Just doesn't have it, man. And he used to. It's a shame. So I should explain. Back in 2021, Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, that man blew out his knee. And he got injured and he was done. And it's never been the same. It's never been the same. And there's a huge logjam at running back at Rutgers. So there's no chance of him starting at Rutgers. And I remember Greg Schiano doing a press conference last year, late in the season. And a reporter asked him, hey, do you have any plans for Aaron Young? You know, blah, blah, blah. And Greg Schiano knew the writing's on the wall, like this kid's going to hit the portal. We got to do something. So he's like, hey, well, we're going to try to get him involved in the offense more and all this stuff. Nah. They never did. Let him play special teams. Never got him involved. And I don't blame him. They have Kyle Monangai, stud running back. They have good running backs, but this is a young man, Aaron Young. His older brother was a team captain back in 2022, corner, Avery Young. He actually just went undrafted. I think after the draft he signed with 49ers, and then he signed with somebody else, and the name escapes me. Like, he went with the Niners and somebody else. But it just sucks because it's a good kid. And he's in the Rutgers through and through, he and his brother, right? So, Buccaneers, 49ers and Buccaneers, I'm pretty sure. So Aaron Young, now he's going to ODU. ODU just lost the running back. Congratulations. I hope he gets some playing time at ODU. Next guy I got to talk about, Calvin Hill. Remember, I've already talked about all these other running backs in another episode. Calvin Hill leaving Texas State, going to UTEP. Once again, trading running backs for one another. This is another kid from Baytown, Texas. This is just another Texas running back. 5'8", 200 pounds. Calvin Hill looks good on tape. Looks good on tape. All right, he has had over 1,700 yards rushing in his career, over 10 touchdowns. A little guy with limited speed, like top-end speed. I think, you know what I don't like? I don't like when I go look at your Twitter and all your posts and everything you talk about is money. Like, if you're a college football player and I go look at your Twitter and I'm trying to assess whether or not I want you on my team, and you write to every single one of your teammates, go get that bag, go get that bag, go get that bag, over and over and over again, that's Calvin Hill. Focus, let's get this bread, let's get this cheddar, let's get this. It's just a hood mentality. And don't get me wrong, bro, I'm focused on my money every day. But I don't write like that every day. I don't need to. And he's constantly doing it. This is the type of dude that'll buy a chain if he gets paid. I'm not a Calvin Hill guy. I don't think he's that good, but he's okay. Congratulations, you're going to UTEP to be a backup running back. I already told you. There's a much better running back coming in the portal. Shout out to Javin Jackson. Javin Jackson's better than Calvin Hill, and it'll be on the field. We'll see it. Next guy I want to talk about is Cameron. Where's Cameron at? Did I skip Cameron? Barfield? Where's he at? Oh, they have it at Cam. Cam Barfield leaving Boston College, going to Hawaii. Guys, this is the move. This is the move. Go play for Timmy Chang in Hawaii. Hawaii's a beautiful place. But more importantly, Cameron Barfield is following a high school teammate out there. Cameron Barfield played high school ball at Bishop Gorman. So when you play at Bishop Gorman and Fabian Ross at USC played at Bishop Gorman and they both go on a trip to Hawaii and then commit, whoo-hoo, that's a big deal. What you guys need to study is a guy named Chris Brown. Chris Brown, not I'm going to beat up Rihanna Chris Brown. Chris Brown, the linebackers coach at Hawaii. He is the reason all these Bishop Gorman kids are going to Hawaii. Hawaii now has 6 Bishop Gorman alumni. And if you don't know Bishop Gorman, one of the best high schools in America, and they now have 6 players from Bishop Gorman at Hawaii, all because of Chris Brown. This is no different than what Coach Prime's trying to do with George Hegeman. If you don't know, George Hegeman just leaving IMG as an offensive line coach, leaving IMG, joining the Colorado staff. Over the next couple of years, we're going to see how many IMG prospects Colorado gets, but it'll be because of that pipeline to George Hegeman. That's how it is at Hawaii right now. They got a pipeline to Bishop Gorman players. Maybe it's not all the star Bishop Gorman players, but it's Bishop Gorman caliber players. And that's where Cam comes from. So Cam Barfield leaving Boston College, going to Hawaii. Pretty cool stuff with 6 of his teammates. That'd be really cool if Hawaii can get their feet on the ground. Cam Barfield is little, though. 5'6", 185, short little dude. Real talk. So it is what it is. Adam Mohammed, no picture of Adam Mohammed. I want you guys to think of Adam Mohammed as the Julian Sain of running backs. What? Yeah, Julian Sain, that quarterback, that all-American quarterback, the best quarterback in the transfer portal, blah, 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 blah. The one thing unique about Julian Sain is he went to Alabama for about a week, and then he got released from his letter of intent, and then he transfers to Ohio State. Same thing with Adam Mohammed, committed to Arizona, coming out of high school just right now, just this January. Flips, and he goes to Washington. This is a stud running back. I turn on the tape, guys. 2,100 yards rushing in high school, 11 yards a carry. Absolute monster on tape. Arizona has no problem recruiting running backs, and they got one. It's pretty damn cool. I love it. I was very impressed with Adam Mohammed's tape. They don't know what to do. They make him 3 stars. They don't know what they're doing. That kid's a stud. Going to Washington, following his coaching staff. They went up there, and they said, we're bringing this kid with us for sure. Adam Mohammed, that's a pretty big deal. Oh, and he's an Arizona kid. Right, straight out of Apollo High School. He was supposed to stay in Arizona. Didn't care. I'm going to go with my coaching staff. I'm going to go with guys I believe in. Speaking of an Arizona kid, Javin Jacobs here. I'm almost done, y'all. And we're going to switch to chat for a little bit, and then we'll end the show. Javin Jacobs here. FCS offers out of high school. Didn't see much. Had a bunch of late FCS offers, and then he got a late ASU offer. And I need people to understand, when you get a late FBS offer, you are not FBS caliber. You are a backup plan. You are a consolation prize for that school. They don't really want you. They just look around and go, hey, we'll give this guy an offer. We missed out on a different recruit, so now we're going to offer you. And I don't believe he belongs at the Power 4 level. I actually don't believe he belongs at the FBS level. So to see him going to New Mexico makes sense. We'll see what it is, but I think he's a Big Sky caliber player. I think he should be at NAU. I think he should be at Northern Colorado, Northern Arizona. I don't see him as a New Mexico kind of guy. That's just how I feel about it, okay? DJ Jones, leaving North Carolina, going to Wyoming. He's not a running back. He moved to corner this year. While at North Carolina, these websites don't know what they're doing, and they always have errors every single day of the week and twice on Friday. So don't sweat it. Excuse me. Dylan Downing, leaving Purdue, going to Miami of Ohio. That isn't Maryland. It's Miami of Ohio. Dylan Downing, a freshman, could not beat out Devin Maccabee. And who can, right? Devin Maccabee's been a good runner. I want to say this is a kid coming out of high school. He went to UNLV first. Couldn't play at UNLV. Then transferred to be closer to home. He's from Carmel, Indiana. Transfers to be closer to home. And more power to you, but if you can't play at UNLV, why transfer to Purdue? You're not good enough to play at Purdue. You should have went to the MAC to begin with, or maybe Indiana State and went to Terre Haute. Like, you should have been doing something else. You got no wasting eligibility. Now, can he play at Miami of Ohio? I hope so. I hope he can. He's a big back. He's 6 foot 225. He's a big kid, but he couldn't play at Purdue. They had good running backs, and he wasn't one of them. Just keeping it real. You want to talk about a complete stud? Somebody better turn on the tape. Coleman Bennett right here. 0 stars. 0 stars. Best 0-star running back in the portal. Maybe they're going to give him some stars someday, but that is a fast-ass running back. Speed demon. Turn on the tape. I said, whoa. Him and Connors, the other Rice running back, the white dude, Connors and Bennett are about to be a problem. Bucknell. This guy's been at Bucknell for 4 years. Kickoff returner. All kinds of shit, bro. He's 7th in the FCS in total yards. 7th in the FCS in total yards. Coleman Bennett. Complete stud. Straight out of Bucknell. Going to Rice. What an amazing get for Rice. Go find his highlight tape. It's on YouTube. Coleman Bennett will be a contributor at Rice. He will be one of those guys rotating with the ball. They have another good running back in Dean Connors. So they got 2 good running backs. Period. Kylan James, stud. Surprised to see him go in UNLV. UNLV running back room is loaded. And Kylan James is kind of a contributor. He's a good receiving running back. He had over 1,000 yards receiving in the last 3 years and 1,000 yards rushing combined in the last 3 years at Central Arkansas. He wears number 7 when you turn on the tape and you watch him. He looks good, man. You know what it is, though? Don't judge me. Don't judge. I'm just going to keep it real. He runs a little hood. He runs like he doesn't run like a normal runner. He runs like he's ghetto fast. Like he kicked off his shoes and wants to race you from light pole to light pole. He runs kind of different from everybody else. I'm just being real. Like, I grew up in the hood where we wanted to race each other. We took our shoes off because that made us faster. And you ran barefoot from one light pole to the next light pole. Like, he reminds me of my childhood growing up. So when I watched him on tape, I was like, yo, he runs weird. Like, that's just me being real. I was like, yo, what is this? So it's probably not ideal. It's why he probably ended up FCS, but he has been productive. I just think UNLV running back room is something else, bro. They got some players. They got this kid Jones, a freshman. I watched his high school tape out of Kansas. Darian Jones. I actually did a video on him on TikTok last year. That kid is nice. I can't imagine this guy James being better, other than being more physically mature. He's got 2 years of eligibility. Congratulations. And the last running back on this list before I get back to the chat, Tyler Purdy here. It's funny. He's been at Holy Cross for 5 years now. His head coach, Bob Chesney, gets hired at JMU, and he's going to follow his coach. He's going to follow his linebacker, Jacob Dobbs. He and Jacob Dobbs have lived together for the last 5 years. And they got another offensive lineman they're friends with. I forget his name. But Patrick or something, right? Mick something. McMurdy. So Patrick McMurdy, Dobbs, star linebacker, and now Purdy all coming together, going to JMU, following their coach. We'll see what happens. It's pretty good stuff. Good running back. He's fine. You know, he's not an every down back. I think he had less than 100 carries this last year, but he did have over 7 yards a carry. So he is pretty fucking sweet. All right, so before I get to the next list, that's all the players that are enrolled. Then I'm going to get to the committed. I don't have a lot of committed guys. Remember, I keep it at 25. So I think I'm only talking about 1, 2, let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys. 7 guys that I haven't talked about in the past. That's the only guys I'll hit. But before I get to those final 7, let's go to the chat. If you got questions, YouTube, put them in the chat. If you got comments, concerns, TikTok, move over to YouTube, put it in the chat. Let's go. Not many questions tonight. That's fine. Of every running back transfer so far, which one excites you the most? Oh, boy. Oh, this is fun. Of every running back, which one excites me the most? Ayo Adehi. Ayo Adehi is a 5'7" running back from North Texas, and he just transferred to JMU. And JMU also has another kid from UNC coming in, Petaway. And Petaway's like a former 4-star, and everybody's talking about Petaway. And I got news for you. Ayo Adehi at 5'7". Oh, my God. How do I say this? Wasn't the starter to start the year. Rushed for over 1,000 yards the last 2 years, each year. He led the team in rushing this year, averaged 7 yards a carry at the FBS level. Ayo Adehi had to earn his spot. And the North Texas coaching staff initially just goes, no, man, he's too small. We don't believe in him. We're going to start somebody else. We're doing all this stuff. And even when they hit the transfer portal, let me show you something. Even when these running backs hit the transfer portal, the one thing that happened among the running backs, by the way, Colin Schlee back in the portal, is like they just recruited metrics and they didn't care. So I'll give you an example. If you look here, you will see the running back rankings for who's enrolled. And you're going to see Oscar Attaway right here. Oscar Attaway going from North Texas to South Carolina. And he's ranked way high. Ranked ahead of Say Bangor, Jay Harris, Anthony Woods, Jordan McDonald. He's ranked ahead of people. And Oscar Attaway, oh, you guys can't see this. Oh, man, see, this is why I suck. So listen, Oscar Attaway right here. North Texas to South Carolina. And if you look, they got the top-rated running backs right here, Quinshon Judkins. You just scroll down a little bit, and you'll get a North Texas kid going to South Carolina, and everybody goes, yeah, he's a star. He's the stud. And if you look at his size, 5'10", 220 pounds. Oscar Attaway is him, final year of eligibility, going to come do the damn thing, right? But Oscar Attaway was not the starting running back at North Texas. And that's the crazy part, is they'll rank this kid way up here, and you got to scroll down before you find Ayo Adehi. You got to keep going. And then you find Ayo Adehi right here. The real starting running back at North Texas. The better player. Lined up, better player. But because he's not going to South Carolina, these recruiting websites rank him down here. They don't care. They put him down here. And it's nuts. Because if I go in, sorry about that. So I know that when I watched Ayo Adehi play, he was better than Oscar Attaway every single day, every single Saturday, yet he's ranked lower. So if you want to know about the guy I'm most excited about, it's Ayo Adehi going to JMU. Audio did go out. I fixed it. Thank you for letting me know. I'm excited about Ayo Adehi. I want him to prove the world wrong. I don't understand why these guys don't know what's going on. Ayo Adehi is my guy. He should have been, he is the starter from North Texas. The fact that he's ranked below somebody that he outperformed and outrushed every single day is just mind-numbing to me. He's got 300 more yards, started over him, a yard a carry, in the same offense, same amount of touchdowns. I don't understand it. But South Carolina only wanted to recruit a certain size of player, certain metrics, and these recruiting websites, look, Oscar Attaway is replacing Mario Anderson at South Carolina. So they magically have them ranked the same. So South Carolina replaced their starter with somebody of equivalent talent. That's what they're saying. What are we doing? This is nuts. This is a 1,400-yard rusher up here. Marcus Carroll's a 1,000-yard rusher. Oscar Attaway is a backup running back. Say Bangor is a 1,000-yard rusher. Oscar Attaway is a backup running back. But because he's going to South Carolina, they give him all this love. This is a backup running back. And you got to scroll way down to get to Ayo Adehi, who actually started over him. Bugs me, bro. Bugs me. I hope the sound is back. You guys say sound cut out. I hope it is back. Let me know. Ben Dejo says, Bendejo. Okay, Bendejo. Thank you very much. Shout out to you. Rico, why would any high school running back commit to Lincoln Riley when all he does is bring portal running backs? Well, I would hope players want to go to USC or Lincoln Riley because it's USC and you want an education. A USC degree is probably pretty damn, got a lot of clout there. I would say he uses freshmen just as many as anybody else. It's just unfortunate when he doesn't use Raleek Brown. It's just unfortunate when he doesn't use certain running backs. But every team's bringing in a transfer running back. What team's not bringing in a transfer running back? Alabama brought in Jahmyr Gibbs. Georgia brought in Etienne. Like, every team's bringing in a transfer running back. I don't know what that is. Like, what are we talking about? If you're afraid of competition, don't go. But you go to USC, there's going to be competition. And he's going to bring in better players. He's going to address the shortcomings. That's what a coach's job is supposed to do. Like, a coach's job is to put together the best 85 he's got. Don't fault him for that. That's absurd. If they want you, they're going to offer you. If they offer you, they wanted you. Now, if you're trying to do a preferred walk-on or you're transferring in and you thought you were going to be the starter, shout out to Dorian Singer, like, those are all different scenarios. But if they're recruiting you out of high school, they want you. They got a limited number of offers they can give anyways. You should not be showing up as a freshman thinking you're going to start at USC. You shouldn't be mad that they brought in a transfer. You should not be mad they brought in a transfer. If you are a high school player and you're going to USC and they bring in transfers at your position group, welcome to it. Red shirt, keep lifting weights, get bigger, stronger, faster. This whole thing about starting as a true freshman because you're a 5-star, that's a very rare thing. That's so rare, it's ridiculous. And anybody who thinks it's an automatic or a given, you guys don't have a historical reference. Like, I promise you, you don't have historical reference. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't. Because there's been so many 4- and 5-star players that take multiple years before they break the starting lineup. And they can still have an amazing career. Mike Barrett is a great example. Linebacker for Michigan for 3 years. He was just all special teams. Didn't matter. Michigan's about to start a center this year. All special teams for years. Like, just never been a starter, ever. And he's about to be the starter. He's a junior. Been there 3 years. Very common. So when you go to a major program, there's going to be competition, and the coach's job is to get the best team out there. It's not to make you feel good. It's not to be loyal to you. It's to be loyal to his job, or else he gets fired, and then he doesn't have any more money. Can't feed his damn kids. Hey, guys, thanks for being here tonight. I hope you learned something about the running backs in the transfer portal. Remember, I want you to go to Patreon or Twitter and try to beat me. Join our DraftKings competition. Come try to beat me. It's $10 for UFC 300. Hope to see you guys there. Everybody stay blessed, stay safe. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.